Here with Claire Kee to preview the 2023-24 Concordia Shooting Sports season, and as we record this, only about a week and a half, I believe, from the first official event of the fall season. Figured we would start maybe with a little bit of background on you and how you got to Concordia. I know you're from in the state, which there's a lot of people on the team that are from out of state, but how did you find out about the program here at Concordia, and what was it that made you decide that this was the place for you to be?
I found out about Concordia through like my pastor and his friend and his family goes here, and then I had a friend shoot from my hometown on Concordia's team, so that's kind of how I got connected with that. And then they had what I wanted to study, so I decided to come here.
And how about your background in the sport? I think you think about youth leagues of traditional sports and things, but how do you get involved in shooting competitively? How did that passion come about for you?
I grew up on like a farm, so I hunted when I was little. I went to the blind with my dad. And then there's a lot of high schools with teams now. It's starting to get bigger and more common, so our high school had a team, and I shot for them for a little bit, and then I ended up shooting for a different team to just pursue college shooting a little bit more.
Sure. Was there a point when you realized maybe this was something you could do in college, or was that kind of something that maybe came about late?
It came later. Probably like my sophomore year of high school, I would say I started actually trying to get recruited. It's really hard because most coaches don't look for just one event. They look for someone who can shoot all three of the events. So with that being said, I had to transfer to be able to shoot those three events and start working on all three of them.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember about getting started and how maybe difficult it is, or how much time it takes to really kind of reach a certain level of expertise in the sport?
I just remember a lot of effort. There's a lot of training techniques that you do with your gun outside of practice, like unloaded, you mount in a mirror just to make sure your gun mount is accurate and very consistent, because the whole sport is about consistency and doing everything you can to stay the same for every shot.
Transitioning just a little bit about to this team and this program, I know a lot of people have been through a lot the last couple of years in this program, but what's maybe something that makes you proud to be part of it, considering how you've kind of had to be resilient through some things?
Just how close we are. Every time something happens, we always, no matter if it's in our team or someone's family, we always stick together, so we always show up and support, and just we're a very close team.
And everybody who has been here a couple years had to get used to Coach Owens this past year, his first year. What have you maybe enjoyed about getting to know him and his style of doing things?
It's definitely different than Scott's was, but he brings a different perspective. He brings like a perspective of being in the shooting world, being a student athlete, and having that perspective is very nice because he does know what we're going through, and he can look at targets and tell us like what he sees and tries to explain that so that we are more accurate at looking at the display of the target.
Sure. How about taking a look back at last season as a team, third at nationals, and there's different divisions, different breakdowns. This team was in Division 4, but what were some of the maybe highlights of going to nationals for you and going to Vegas last year?
It was cool to see somewhere new. A lot of the times we shoot at the same places, same complexes and everything, so it was really cool to see that. What was cool is how we all banded together the week before we suffered a loss on the team, and then we bounced back and we decided that we should probably show up to compete. And that's what we did. We competed very well and with the class that Concordia stands by.
How do you think maybe some of that, what you went through and how you dealt with it has maybe made this team hopefully stronger for this year?
I think that with what we dealt through and went through, it bonded us together, but it also showed us how we thought, each individual person. And with shooting, it's such a mental game that if you can help someone break out of that mindset, then it kind of helps them be able to think outside of just focus on the next target. So it's really not convenient, but we learned a lot about each other to be able to help.
Is there a favorite experience you've had so far, a favorite maybe trip that you've been on as a team?
I would say like when we all travel as a team, so to nationals, it's always interesting because it's anywhere from 16 to 22 hours on a bus that you're just trapped inside with this team. So it's a lot of games, a lot of jokes, a lot of laughter, and it's a great time.
But what is your favorite event to shoot, and what's maybe something you're working on improving for this year?
My favorite event is probably sporting clays, just because I shoot that a lot more than I do the other two. But one thing I want to improve is like my mindset. I struggle with overthinking things when I'm shooting instead of just trusting my instinct and my eyes. So to just learn how to trust my eyes a little bit better would be good.
I was going to say, is that maybe one of the biggest pieces to excelling at this sport? Is it the mental part? I mean, what does it take to be successful?
Yes, it's a lot of mind control. Like if you miss a target, you can't really go back and fix it, so you have to just get over it. But it's also knowing how you shoot. Like personally, I'm an instinctive shooter, so I can't tell you any type of thing of how I broke a target unless I think about it. It's just what feels right to me. A lot of people are different. It's just knowing how you shoot and what you need to do, but a lot of it is mental.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So when everybody comes back to campus for the start of a new semester, you don't have all that much time before your first shoot of the season. So what do you are there things you kind of do to prepare over the summer? What do you and some of your teammates do to get ready?
I know a lot of people shoot throughout the summer. I think I put probably 4,000 rounds through my gun this summer just traveling around the state. I know a lot of the shooters do that too. Just trying to keep the gun in your hands as much as you can. Like Dylan understands that you're going to be busy. It's your off season. You're trying to make money, so he's very understanding that you can't always have a lot of targets in the summer. But that's why he tries to get us back in the groove right away, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. I know on campus there's a specialized room in Dunklau for training too. Can you kind of maybe explain how that works a little bit? It's weird. You're shooting basically on a wall with a background and a laser. And the laser is connected to your gun. And the trigger is also like the firing pin of the laser, I guess, kind of. And it's different because you don't actually have the thought process of, oh, there's going to be recoil, or the wind isn't really an aspect in a room. You just have a lot of outside factors. It's very nice because we're not shooting when it's negative degrees outside, but it's also very different to go from one to the other just because of the aspect of what the targets look like on the wall in real life. It's really nice though. Right, that's where the teams mostly is during the really cold winter months. Yeah. I don't know if you make goals or write out goals, but just in your thoughts, what would make this season successful for you and for the team? For me personally, I think just continually improving in everything that I can. For the team, I think we're all very competitive, so we always want to consistently improve throughout the year. But I think one of the goals would be to do better than third at nationals this year. Mm-hmm. Sure. last thing, off topic a little, but what was something fun you did over the summer? Or the most fun thing?
I didn't really do a lot over the summer. I had an internship, but I did go shoot in Colorado with like all my old high school coaches and like my dad, and it was just really fun to go out there and not, like, yes, I was competing, but it didn't feel like I was competing because there was no stress, and it was just it was a good time.